Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the Highlanders versus the Hurricanes. This game, I feel, is going to be match of the weekend. There's a lot on the line. The Hurricanes, of course, undefeated at this point. The Highlanders, they are coming off a loss in Dunedin up against the Brumbies. That was their last home game, but they want to show signs of improvement here and take down an undefeated side. And at the Hurricanes, after the 5 rounds. This is how it was sitting at the start of the round, though. The Hurricanes, they are on 22. Of course, the Blues are actually just a little bit above them at the moment due to the last game that we did see of the Blues up against Moana Pacifica, but a lot can change, and of course, we will have an updated table near the end of the stream as well. But looking through at this starting lineup for the Highlanders, the home side, Ethan de Groot, Henry Bell, and Saua Ma'u there as the front row. Fabian Holland and Max Hicks will be the locking duo with Sam Withy, Billy Harmon and Tom Sanders in the loose forward. Trio Falau-Pakatava going head-to-head with Cam Roigard in this game. That is definitely going to be an entertaining head-to-head. Reece Patchell at 10, a lot of weight on that man's shoulders. Last game up against the Chiefs, he didn't quite perform in the way that he had throughout the earlier stages of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. This is one of those games definitely needs to step up. Sam Gilbert at number 12 with Jonah Lowe on the outside at 13. Then Jonah Nareki, Timothy Tavatava and Jacob Ratamaitabuki Nepkin slotting in at number 15. Of course, Lowe is in due to Tanuelu Talia not being available for this game, or at least not in the starting lineup anyway. For this contest for the Hurricanes, it is Xavier Numia, Asafa Moore, and Tyrell Lomax, a formidable front row. But across this whole Hurricane side, there's not many weak links, and I feel like that is why they have found so much success throughout the early stages of the season. Caleb Delaney and Isaiah Walker-Leawiti will be the 4-5. Then Brad Shields, he was playing 10 years ago for the Hurricanes. The man is back now, still playing some very good rugby, and he's alongside the youngsters and Peter Lakai and Braden Yorsi, who are hoping to have a formidable career in front of them. Cam Roigard at 9 with Brett Cameron slotting in as the number 10. Geordie Barrett in the midfield alongside Billy Proctor, and then Kenny Naholo, Josh Morby, 2 try-scoring machines out on the wings with Ruben Love there at number 15. In the chat, we have there go the Hurricanes, says Darren Lincoln. Also the Hurricanes says a Homeland Enforcement in the chat as well. I've just mentioned, not since 2015 have the Hurricanes been 5-0 in a season, and they are continuing to build their momentum off the bench. They've got James O'Reilly, Pori Rakati Stones, and then Dossi, the man who scored the last-minute try in the Golden Point fixture between the Hurricanes and also the Reds. Sangster and Karefi, the other forward replacements, with TJ Perenara, Peter Umanga Jensen, and Natunani Punavai there at number 23. For the Highlanders off the bench, they have got Taylor, Leonard Brown, and Wingham, then Haig and Broughton. The other 2 forward replacements are Scott Faliafunga and also Josh Timu there at number 23. And Jacob Ratamai, Suzuki, Netkins, and Ruben Love. So yes, Blues Nate, 2 youngsters who could be bolters for the All Blacks. We've got to remember there's a lot on the line here, not just for the fullbacks. I'm also looking at that number 9 jersey. Cam Roigard, I feel, has already well and truly cemented him a chance for the ABs this year. But someone who's a little bit unsure whether they will be selected, that is Falau-Fakatava. If he can outperform Roigard, that might be what they need to get that little bit more confidence in him. De Groot versus Tyrell Lomax. Yeah, we're seeing All Black versus All Black in multiple positions in this game. I'm looking at that left wing as well, Kenny Naholo. He is going head-to-head with Tavatava Nawai, Jonah Nareki, going head-to-head with Josh Morby. These are all youngsters that could get opportunities in the future. And Ruben Love and Jacob Ratamaitabuki Nepkins at the back, of course. Going to be one to watch out for as well. We have got True Hamish, I'm excited, and Lakai Anahira Karefi, and he is a formidable talent as a youngster. Peter Lakai, Dubisi Karefi, of course, will offer you that later on in the game, a little bit more stability perhaps, and a little bit more oomph in the breakdowns. But Peter Lakai, when he got ball in hand, he's extremely hard to be able to stop him. These are the previous results for the Highlanders. Now, I need to mention that game where they did lose 28 points to 21 up against the Chiefs. They were down by 28 points at halftime. They managed to get themselves 3 unanswered points, or 3 unanswered tries against the Chiefs, and get them back within the bonus point. The last game in Dunedin, they did lose. They won their opening contest of the Super Rugby Pacific competition up against Moana Pacifica. That was down south in Dunedin. And then, of course, they've had a good away win up against the Tars and a tough game up against the Blues. We're on to our fourth live stream of this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. So the voice might start to struggle just a little bit, but also for the Hurricanes, they have had a great start to their season. They have had 5 wins from 5, including victories over the defending champions, the Crusaders, the side that feel like they can be champs, the Blues, and then also that Golden Point game up against the Reds. But both sides now out there on the field. We are ready to go for this contest. Do let me know your score predictions. I feel like this is the hardest game of the weekend to predict, mainly because on paper, everything says the Hurricanes should win this game. But this Highlanders side in Dunedin seem to just add that little bit more unknown to this game. They've got some great informed players as well at the moment. The Hurricanes, it's their game to lose, but can the Landers cause an upset down in Dunners? It's going to be kicked off now by the Hurricanes to get us underway. It's nicely taken by Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins inside of their own 22. That Hurricanes kit is bright and shining inside a Forsyth Barr Worthy. Goes across to Gilbert. Looked like they were going to be running it out from inside of their own area there, the Highlanders, but instead now Nareki kicks it downfield and it's cleaned up by Roigard. Then to Love does send the boot downfield. Reese Patchell tries to step, doesn't get around Billy Proctor. Love trying to get over the ball, doesn't win the turnover. Go the Hurricanes, make it 6 wins, says Savanatha. And also, come on the Canes, I want to go back to sleep, says a Razor Robinson. Of course, we've got a game around the corner between the Reds and the Brumbies. We are also going to be covering that game on the channel. And alongside that, we have got the contest taking place between 2 URC sides later on tonight, Sharks and Edinburgh, as well as Stormers versus Ulster. Now Roigard goes across to Isaiah Walker-Leawitty. Back into the pocket. Cameron fires it back to Geordie Barrett. Does put it up high. Of course, they found some success when he wasn't available with Riley Higgins slotting in as their number 12. Go the Hurricanes. There's Carmen there. Now Reese Patchell goes across to Sam Gilbert. And not claimed cleanly by Brett Cameron. It goes backwards though, so no pressure on Ruben Love as he returns fire back to the sky. Now, of course, playing with no wind in Forsyth Barr. They actually mentioned about for the Hurricanes, they have been very lucky this week and they've been able to play indoors in the stadium, or kind of the fitness area that they have. Ball out wide. Here comes James Lowe. Can't quite break his way through the next tackle attempt. Of course, that man has had a few Super Rugby sides in the past. Now back, Ethan DeGroot. He's knocked that one on, though. Massive shot coming in on him by Osafo Moore. A big contact loose. Says Rays, if they were at Carisbrook, they might have had a chance. WGF is a Forsyth Barr anyway. Says Fluffy. I think it's a sponsor, isn't it? If I'm correct. But then it's spelled with 2 R's, so I don't actually really know, to be fair. But yeah, massive shot coming in. Xavier Numia had him around the bootlaces. Then Asafar Moore drops the shoulder into the rib cage of Ethan DeGroot. Just letting him know he's out there. And he's going to be playing a physical game, but currently only 2 minutes in, and we are getting to see the first scrum of the day. This one will be the scrum beat for the Hurricanes here. We did see in the last contest between the Blues and Moana Pacifica 2 forward packs that were over 900 kgs. That is exactly what we get to see here. 920 for the Highlanders and 916 for the Hurricanes. And Asafo Moore tells DeGroot to get some. Says Razor. Yeah, although at the moment, in terms of AB's contracts and AB's test matches, feel like Ethan DeGroot could also say to Asafo Moore to try and get some. Of course, missing out on that Rugby World Cup squad. He wants to get in there this year, and he's got a brilliant chance as well. Been playing some fantastic rugby for the Hurricanes. Currently the scrum, it is the 8th most successful in Super Rugby Pacific for the Hurricanes. They have won 31, only lost to 3. Shows you the strength of some of these scrums, though, throughout the competition early on. Now Roigard about to feed the ball in. They are 25 metres out from their own line. Where to watch, says James Trass. I think the only bet, if you are in New Zealand, is Sky Sport. That is going to be the penalty now to the Hurricanes. Although it might be on Prime as well, a little bit later on in the evening. But yeah, that is only if you are in New Zealand. Like if you think the Highlanders is going to win, subscribe. If you think the Hurricanes is going to win, says 7-0 out of a suffer. Get his line out throwing sorted. He'll be the complete player. Says Razor Robinson. Now kicking this one downfield will be Jordie Barrett off the penalty. That was one, although hasn't found touch. Tried to get a couple extra metres for Barrett. Does end up costing him. Reece Patchell returns fire with a kick of his own. Cross to Cameron. Now Love moves up to 40 metres out. It's hit hard in the tackle from Jonah Lowe. Roygaard with the sniping run. Flicks it out the back door to Brad Shields. Can I watch Super Rugby for free? I have a VPN, says Alex. Sadly not, I don't think. I don't think there's too many options for free. You can watch the highlights for free on YouTube after the games have taken place. But in terms of actually watching it for free, unless you want to cancel your subscription straight away, that is your only real option. And that's going to be the penalty now for the Highlanders. Nice work from Jonah Nareki in the breakdown. I think Jordie Barrett's trying to say that it shouldn't have been a penalty. Both sides playing at a quick pace. They always do under the lid at Forsyth Barr. Seems to bring out the best attacking style of rugby from any side that go head-to-head down south. Definitely when it's a New Zealand derby, Tavatavanaawai versus Love, says Southern Earth, although more specifically Tavatavanaawai versus Kinina-Holo for this game. Both men out on that same side. Oh, look at there, what a run, says Razor Robinson. But now on the halfway line, Henry Bell. This line out throw. And they do go in. Over the top, nicely claimed by Ethan de Groot. Now Reece Patchell cross to Sam Gilbert. Looping around was Jacob Ratamaitavuki. Nepkins trying to prove why he is one of the top fullbacks in the competition currently. Does get held. And they let him go, so he is able to go again. And the Hurricanes with Tyrell Lomax managed to get that ball back. Some nice aggression being shown in the breakdown from the Canes early. Braden Yorsi breaks through 2 tackle attempts, including one of Falau Fakatava. We got off to the right-hand side. Quick answer from Peter Lakai. George Bell misses the tackle on Xavier Numi, and they can't afford to have too many of those, the Highlanders, or else they will find momentum for the Canes. Billy Proctor moves to 30 metres out. Roygaard sells the dummy. Now goes off to Kinina-Holo. Another missed tackle from Reece Patchell. That's about his 3rd in a row here. I think will be a concerning sign for the Highlanders fly half, definitely after his performance last week. Roygaard up to 7 phases now for the Hurricanes as Iwaka Leowiri dragged down by Sean Withy. He's not a small individual, though he does look small next to his Iwaka Leowiri. A bit of a miracle offload attempted there from Caleb Delaney. He had no one in support, and it does give the ball straight back to the Highlanders, although Reece Patchell, I believe he's fallen the wrong way almost. Ended up giving away the penalty for not releasing. Now Fakatava going off to this left-hand side. Forsyth Barr is a building company, I'm not sure. Says Blues Nate. Now counter right coming there. And Falau Fakatava will boot this one downfield. Does it go into touch? And yes, Canes go, Canes go, Canes. Says it's 7-0. Only 7.5 minutes through at the moment. Both of these sides are going for it. I think is the best way of describing it. We've seen some good attacking play from the Hurricanes in terms of putting together phases. Highlanders, though, they look like they're one clean break away from possibly getting on the try sheet for the first time of the contest. Suffer more now. Throws it in, stolen it. Line out time by the Highlanders. And they will get that one back. Sean Withy. Is it available now for the Landers? And Falau Fakatava will once again go for the box kick. Jonah Nareki tries to line it up, but Morby got up early. And it's live on Sky, open channel 15 for New Zealand. Says Ben Stiles. What channel is number 15 now? I remember 15 used to be Comedy Central, didn't it? Is it now Prime, or is it just on Freeview, I guess? Kinina-Holo straight through the gap, opening up space. Reece Patchell, he has made that tackle. And absolutely had to. Roygaard tries to kick him behind, may not have been the best option. Gilbert gets back there, thinks about forcing it. He's been almost clotheslined by Jordie Barrett in the end. He's fallen into you. And it is going to be now the goal line dropout. Looks like Barrett has also got a little incision on the side of his nose. But Kinina-Holo just bumping through 2 tackle attempts as if it was nothing. And reckon their accountants, old boys from Otago High, Boys High, says Fluffy and Whakatava versus Cam. Says Southern Arthur, get off me, says a little Naholo. Well, that's the thing, they both went high. And if there's anything I've learned about the early stages of the season, you do not try and tackle Kenny Naholo around the chest. The bigger they are, the more around the bootlaces you need to go. And yes, if they've got tree trunks for legs, it makes it more difficult to tie up those legs. But that was a better tactic there. Max Hicks, although Roigard now with the sniping run. He doesn't get the offload to Ruben Love, though, and I believe that should be the Highlanders penalty. No, they've given away the advantage. And this is going to be a yellow card against the Highlanders. You've come off your feet, says the referee. Jacob Ratamaita Vuki Nepkins. He's made an important tackle, but he's also now just been sent to the bin. Come on, Landers, says Ghostly Man. And Jill says Neve there, and you have 18 likes. And the line at the start of this game was 8.5 points for the Hurricanes. Says Mark. And incoming says Pads of Lays. Now they have a big decision. I think that they should go for the scrum here. They've got a man advantage in the back line because of that yellow card of Jacob Ratamaita Vuki Nepkins. But he made the important tackle. They said that he left his feet. I'd argue yeah, the commentators are all disagreeing with that decision. They feel there was nothing in it. If anything, he could have been penalised maybe for no clear release. But other than that, I think that he did not leave his feet. So that's a bit of an unlucky one for the Highlanders. Now off the back, Braden Yorsi goes across to Cam Roigard, crawling towards the try line. Does manage to just pop it back for Braden Yorsi. Now Roigard again looking to the short side. Here comes Billy Proctor with a step of his own. Can't get over the try line. Once again, good defence from the Highlanders. And a sophomore flattens over. Oh no, in fact, it's Xavier Numia who does get on from Dunedin. They are an investment firm. They make money by losing other people's money. Says Defunk and Beauty Move. Nola and Roigard, well, what instincts. Says Razor, midfield scrum boys come on, and definitely Otago Boys High alumni there. But off the back, Cam Roigard, the fact that he is such an attacking option at the scrum time as well does make it very tricky to be able to defend for the Highlanders, but you got to feel for them. The fact that that was the yellow card there for something that probably shouldn't have been a yellow card, but now the Hurricanes, they have struck early, they've made the most of it. Come on, Canes, change your weather, says Savanatha. Well, they can't change the weather too much at Forsyth Barr, seeing as they are indoors. And good luck stopping them that close, like a mini bulldozer, says Razor. So yeah, very nicely done by Xavier Numia. Could even be in with a shot of becoming an AB up the Canes. Says Bros Production there. And I Hamish and all the Hurricane supporters. Says Tar, what about the Highlanders supporters, Tar? Are you saying hi to them as well? That one has gone over. And that will now make the score 7-0 in favour of the Hurricanes. G'day, Tar. Says Razor Robinson. Xavier Numia, every time we see him, his rat's tail looks like it's gotten longer and longer. Now just walking up to the halfway line here, the Highlanders up the Canes. Let's go, Barrett is playing. Says Savanatha, he certainly is. He had a bit of a bleeding nose earlier on. He's still got a bit of blood dripping down the side. Trying to fix that though and stop him from having to go off for a blood bin. Now kicked off for the Highlanders. They've still got another 8 minutes remaining. Oh, has a sophomore got an injury here? Was he just walking awkwardly? That didn't look too good for him. It looked like he was trying to take off to run in a direction. I'm hoping to see him in back play here. Nice offload though from Braden Yorsi. Nah, he looks like he's all right. He looks like should be able to continue. Peter Luckeye on the halfway line now. Hurricanes with Roigard. Goes back to Cameron. Cross now to Ruben Love with the sling and pass out wide to Morby. Goes for the chip and chase. Back there to cover his Patchell. And Umi and the ABs, I could see it. I think he's been deemed a bit on the smaller side for an international front rower. Says Razor Robinson. And born in Caneland. Says Ta. Patchell managed to get the clear and kick away. Certainly not as free-flowing for him as it was in that first game that he played for the Highlanders, where he found some success. We've seen the Highlanders currently, they have made 4 tackles. They have missed 7. And they sit with a tackle completion of 36% throughout the early stages, although now the ball's just been thrown back to them. Tava Nawai trying to go on the outside. Ruben Love manages to shut him down. He's a cane toad. There's Fluffy Highlanders have lost the ball though in the breakdown. No cleaners. So it means that Love and also the rest of the Canes have got the possession. Looked like a knock on from Roigard. Yes, it was. And the breakdown. Okay, Roigard looking at him as if to say that he was wrong to Damon Murphy. We're about to see the replay though. Not sure what Damon Murphy said after that though, because it sounded like he said, if I got it wrong, I owe you one. Or if I got it wrong, I'll let you know or something like that. But surely he doesn't want to. Yeah, that looks like a knock on though. For Cam Roigard, he's trying to say it went backwards, but there was a fumble of the ball. Always got to support the underdogs. Here's Ghostly Man. 14 minutes into this contest and 7 points on the board for the Hurricanes. Of course, they are sitting second on the table at the moment. If they even get a bonus point from this game, they should theoretically move back into first place above the Blues. Now Falau Fakatava feeds the ball in for the Highlanders, going to the short side to Timothy Tava Nawai. Puts the boot downfield. Hurricanes have got about 4 men back there covering it though. Ruben Love goes across to Josh Morby. Sends it down the middle of the field. Sets up now for Jonah Nareki. Another chip in behind. It's going to be well communicated at the back forward, Love. And does put that one into touch. Come on, ref, are you joking? Says Razor Robinson. From the side angle, it did look like he knocked it on, though. Like, to be fair. And the best way of avoiding the referee thinking you're knocking the ball on, don't drop the ball. Like, if you knock it backwards, you're still playing at that risk of it being seen as otherwise. So just keep the hands on the ball. Solves all your problems. We'll have a Falau Fakatava now, 25 metres out from the line. It's going to be kicked downfield. Brett Cameron now firing it across. Roigard, one more to Billy Proctor, who does have Kenny Naholo with him. Very flat pass out to Naholo. Tries to chip him behind. And it's lined up by Jonah. Nice work out the back line. Tava Nawai. Tackled by Kenny Naholo, and he's held him up that strong, and that's going to be the turnover for the Hurricanes now in the breakdown. Going to go for the kick him behind. Roigard. Looks like he may have got a bit much. No, he does get it just inside of the field of play. And Tava Nawai is a beast, says Southern Nutha. That's a great kick from Cam Roigard. Bounces it just 5 metres out from the Highlanders line. And great work from Kenny Naholo to muscle up. Hold Tava Nawai up like he weighed nothing. Max 6 fires it back across. Falau Fakatava, it's not straight. Oh no, the numbers were wrong from the Hurricanes. And an extra number. So now relieves some of the pressure, and the Highlanders will be able to kick this one downfield. Come on, Highlanders, says Max. And what a kick, says Razor Robinson. Wow. Now Reece Patchell. There's a boot there, one into touch. About 30 metres out now, the Highlanders have conceded that line out. Hurricanes, they are looking quick with that back line. It is stacked from start to finish. Roigard, Cameron, Naholo, Barrett, Proctor, and then Morby and Ruben Love, just to add a bit more oomph to that Canes back line. Now Roigard goes across to Brett Cameron, inside ball to Geordie Barrett. Well protected from Tyrell Lomax, and that's going to be a penalty advantage for Henry Bell, not rolling away. Remember me from yesterday, says Cruz. I certainly do. You were the one who said you were trying to send me money, and I said no thank you. Gal, that's Peter Lakai through, and it's a second try now of the match for the Hurricanes. Just looked a little bit too easy. The Hurricanes cut through the defence. The Hurricanes backline is nasty. Says Mark, in the last game is going to be AU's game. Says stuff enough that it certainly is the match between the Brumbies and the Reds. We are also going to be covering that one on the channel. Come on, Canes, where is that daily attack display? Says pads ablaze, but nice ball. Peter Lakai went back to Braden Yossi, who assisted him again. And magic stuff, says Razor Robinson. And there as well. Nicely done by Peter Lakai to score it. The Canes coaches are celebrating it, and that will give them a 14-0 lead here up against the Highlanders. And that kick has gone over from Brett Cameron. They're trying to make it 6 from 6. And who scored this Garmin? So it was Peter Luckey, but the first try of the match for the Hurricanes was scored by... Who got the first try in the end? I think it was Xavier Numia, in fact. Did score the first one. Who do you think is going to win it? I'll be honest, the way that the Hurricanes have started this match, I don't think it's going to be too easy for them to come back into it, the Landers. I don't think we will win. Says Max. Peter Luckey. Definitely another bolter option maybe for the ABs in the future. So that's 14 points from the Highlanders with down a man. Exactly right. So yeah, that yellow card becoming extremely costly now. Both commentators disagreed with it. I know that Jacob Ratamaitavuki-Nepkins disagreed with it, seeing as he felt he did enough to not put his hands down like the referee insinuated. But just shows you do have that against you. It's going to make it very tricky. And come on the Canes. Canes says coming. And stepped up since AB's under 20. Lions and Canes. Peter Luckey solid. Don't count the Landers out yet. Look at what they did last week. Says Razor Robinson. That is true. They managed to almost bring it back and get themselves that losing bonus point. Now Ethan de Groot considered going for the offload, but Asafa Moore was there to try and cut it off. Yes, Hurricanes are back to their weather. What is the Hurricanes' weather, out of curiosity? That's going to be the penalty against Isaiah Walker-Leawere, or at least a penalty advantage in favour of the Highlanders now. Going to the short side, Pakatava tries to chip him behind. Tava Nawai has managed to take it to ground. And they will go back now for the original penalty. Here we go. Another shafting. Like a who? Says Fluffy. Highlanders, they may consider going for the line out here. They are behind windy and very windy. Says Ta. Now Reece Patchell, he struggled to find touch a couple times in last week's game up against the Chiefs. Looking for improvement from there. And has done just that. It will be about 15 metres out from the line. The Hurricanes power play, which is what they call it when you have a man advantage. They managed to get 14 points. It's been quite a costly 10 minutes for the Highlanders there. Now 20 and a half minutes in though. Still plenty of time remaining. Henry Bell goes in but slapped away by the Hurricanes. Roygaard goes across to Peter Luckey. He kind of looked like someone I know. Says Cruz. Okay. I don't think you'll be from the same region as myself. I think you said Ashburton, didn't you? I've been to Ashburton recently. You probably saw me there. But now, Jacob Ratamaitavuki-Nepkins looking for the 50-22. In fact, he goes for the chipper behind. Jonah Nariki gets the bounce of the ball. Cleans it up beautifully. Finds the offload on the inside to Sam Withy. The Highlanders need clean-outs, and that's exactly what they've had from Falau Fakatava. Either to Groot or I think he may have taken a bit of a knock on the chops there from either Lomax or one of the other players. But Fakatava now sniping run around the side. Goes to Jonah Nariki. He's knocked the ball on. De Groot doesn't look flash though here. And they're going to go back for an original penalty. And it looks like it's all starting to break down here between the two sides. Max Hicks, he has got his shirt off at the moment. Brad Shields has annoyed him. Brad Shields, he's been there, done that. He knows when he can fire up a young player and when he can't. And handbag, someone lost their shirt. Says no, mum. And also, I seen you in Ashburton. Says Cruz. And the Hurricanes are well defended. Are totally unassailable. Says Gatson now. And for all the players the Hurricanes have lost over the last couple of seasons, still done pretty well to produce good performances. Right, they're actually going to check this one on Ethan de Groot. Now, I mentioned about the grimace that he had when he did initially get tackled. And the big difference from previous years is that the forward pack of the Canes have stepped up. Oh, Max Hicks, he had his shirt off and he hit a Hurricanes player in the throat, they have just said. So this might be a yellow card, not just for a high tackle, but also for Max Hicks losing his temper. Now, of course, him getting pulled off did not make him happy. but you aren't allowed to retaliate by striking a man in the throat. That normally gets you in a little bit of trouble. And I think that's what we're about to find out for Max Hicks. And Highlanders have to pull their pants up. And Max Hicks has to put his shirt back on. Now here we go. Oh, it's not much in it, but there's still contact. Yeah, see, he only just slightly brushes him, Brad Shields. And that one, he had a big smile on his face. Max Hicks was really not happy about something that happened. Right. I understand it's a derby. Okay, they're going back for the original knock-on from Ethan de Groot, so there's nothing in his way that he was tackled. Okay, I think Billy Harmon was trying to ask for the penalty from the referee. He said if they don't penalise it now, then it's going to start again later. In other words, give us a penalty or we might start throwing hands. And then the referee said, no, I got it under control. It's still going to be a scrum against your side. And they will have a try. And Hicksy. There's a Razor Robinson there. And so much ill discipline from the players. The Fijian draw were the same earlier today, except they won. Says Mark, that's true. 18 penalties against the Fijian draw in that contest. It's just got to be highest that we're seeing from them this season, maybe even the highest of the whole Super Rugby competition for them there. Now, ball going in for Cam Roigard. They have got themselves a new advantage, and they get themselves the penalty there. Massive push, though. Who would you choose, Sam Cane, Karifi, Lakai, or Harmon? It's a tricky one because it also depends on what type of player you're after. Because if you're after someone who's going to make tackle after tackle after tackle, you probably go with Billy Harmon out of those options. If you're after a player who's going to be able to get turnovers in the breakdown but may concede a couple along the way, you go with Duplessis Karifi. If you want the young and up-and-coming talent and the running game, you go with Peter Lakai. And if you want someone who's older, you go with Sam Cane. So it depends on what they're after in terms of that All Black 7 jersey. Safa Moore now going to be throwing that ball in, nicely claimed by Caleb Delaney. Now Brad Shields goes across to Brad in your sea. My dad kidnapped me when I was little. There's Cruz. That sounds a bit traumatising. Are you a fan of the Crusaders or the Chiefs or the Blues? I enjoy watching all the New Zealand sides play and also the Australian sides. We are covering the Reds versus Brumbies game. That is happening just a little bit later on. A leader of men rules out Kane. Says Fluffy. If you want me, I'm better than Karefi, although you got to prove that to Scott Robinson. I'm not the selector, unfortunately. Jago Ratamaita Buki Nepkins. A few extra important meters. Fakatava, look to the sword side. Sells the dummy, and he's broken through. Roy got another dummy sell, and he can't quite find that last pass, though. And that was almost an absolutely phenomenal try from Fakatava. Now they've lost maybe about 20 or 30 metres in the process. Asafa Moore, quick hands. Here comes Billy Proctor. Does the chip in behind and it rolls into touch. The Highlanders almost got caught on the counter there, but Falau Fakatava almost getting that try early. Sold the massive dummy. Roigard definitely fell for it. And then sold another dummy. They sent Ruben Love the wrong way. If he had got that pass just a little bit higher, could have been straight into Gilbert. And they would have scored their first try. Just woke up. Knew the Bulls were going to suck. Keep it going, Amish. Says Score Story Bro. Of course, after this one, we have still got 3 more live streams that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Violence should be dealt with immediately by the officials. What lurks longer after becomes ugly, says Katzenell. And I pick Max ahead of Kane every day, says Fluffy. Now offloaded again. Advantage in favour of the Hurricanes. Now going short side. Roigard tries to go through, but he's taken down by Solamau. Now Delaney. Already inside of the 22, who's better, Damian McKenzie or Richie? Once again, it depends on what you're after. In a fly half, they both have very different styles. So it just depends on what type of player you prefer. And it is a lot down to personal preference and down to, I guess, biased in terms of what you prefer watching. It's going to be knocked on by Brett Cameron. We'll go back for the original penalty. 6 blue, offside. That is Sean Whiffy. I didn't even mention Papali'i yesterday. 7 jersey is tricky this year. Says Razor Robinson. And also the 10 out of 10 says Defunk. That's the thing. Papali'i probably offers you a few of those things that I mentioned as one player. If that makes sense. Like, he's good at getting the turnover in the breakdown. He's got a decent running game. And he does have to make a lot of tackles per game. It looks like the Hurricanes will once again chase the corner here. Going to be aggressive early on. About 10 metres out from the line. They've got themselves another line. How long should advantage go on for a penalty, says Mark? Normally it's a little bit longer, depending on where it is on the field as well, because I believe what happened there was they had the advantage, but then they lost quite a bit of ground. So rather than calling the advantage back straight away for the penalty, they decided to let it play out a bit more, but the Hurricanes not able to get themselves into an advanced position. So they went back for it, but sometimes it does go on a little bit long, I do feel. Now Hurricanes looking to get this rolling maul going forward. Roigard looking for it off the back, and I think he almost wanted to take that one off of the Hurricanes hooker, but he will not get it. Instead, it's Asafa Moore who does score another try for the Hurricanes. That is now 3 in this game, only in the first 28 minutes. This is looking one-sided. Met all the Hurricanes. Says Cruiser lost all respect. Lost all respect I showed towards the Hurricanes. Says Spinks, in what regard? In there, Spinks. And go the boys. Says Razor Robinson. Yeah, 3 tries already. Who's a better centre, Masi or Ioane? I assume you're talking Rico Ioane. That depends on, once again, what you like. Like, except for Masi, in terms of being clinical, you probably pick him. But Rico Ioane, in terms of the amount of time that man has spent playing some good rugby, you probably go with him. Plus, defensively, I think that Osefo Masi is slightly weaker. That's probably one part of his game that he has even admitted that he needs to work on more. I hate more tries, but I'll take it. So here's Razor Robinson. And at the moment, if this game stays the way that it is, with a 3-try lead for the Hurricanes, they will receive a bonus point in this contest. Now Brett Cameron lining up this kick here. Kane's going for 50. Says Annoy, and that kick from Cameron just drifts away to the left-hand side. Of course, there's no wind, so that was purely him missing. And that'll make the score now, after 29 minutes, 19-0. Go the Canes off to a good start. And damn, always late, not late. A short nap, hi Kiwi lads. Says Spider Merc, welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. Just showing the replay there. Safar Moore just using his strength to fall over the line there. It's going to be kicked off short by the Highlanders. Well taken by Ruben Love. And he goes straight through. Patchell's in trouble. Ball on the outside to Peter Lakai. And the Canes are already looking to answer back with another try. Moore goes off to Ruben Love. Great tackle on him by Jonah Lowe to stop that next pass from coming. Now you'll say 10 metres out from the line, Roigard goes to Josh Morby. It's hardly yet to be involved throughout this contest. She'll be like NHL, 1 minute to sort it out. Says Blues no. You know, I think they would go against the HIA protocols that they're trying to bring in for player safety. Xavier Numia already got himself 1 try in this contest. The only one of the front rows who hasn't scored for the Hurricanes is Tyrell Lomax. Roigard's over, and it's another try for the Hurricanes within 2 minutes. They get themselves their 4th of the contest. And oh boy, Canes are just deadly. I wonder Razor's name his team. Or when Razor's going to name his team, going to be interesting. I normally think it's in the semi-finals of the Super Rugby competition. So we're still quite a few weeks away. And our mate says Razor Robinson, good call, Hamish. Says Defunk. Oh, hang on. They've found a problem here. Oh, okay, the ball's gone missing for the conversion. They have now got it back. Who's the best halfback in this game, Fakatava or Cam Roigard? I would go Roigard, even though Fakatava's had a very good run. Roigard just seems to be able to, I guess, control that back line that little bit better. And the kick is good from Cameron, 26 points to 0. Don't switch off, there's a hurricane coming. Says a Razor Robinson and Landers need no investment brokers. Is that Bankman Fried guy available? Says Fluffy. Cam Roigard just crosses the try line himself as well. The first back for the Hurricanes to score. Is that correct? Who have we seen? We've seen Peter Lakai. We saw, yeah, that was the first back of this match to score the try. And there's a knock on early from the Hurricanes. Holland's making his way from the field. That is by Haig, who has now made his way up there. This could be a cricket score. Says Stuart Moore. He just got sentenced to 24 years. And Roigard, but Fakatava is doing well also. Yeah, like Roigard, yes, he's done extremely well. Fakatava, he hasn't been doing too badly. He's still had a couple good breaks. Who do you think wears number 7, Amy? Says Spider-Mick. It's a good question. It depends on Razor, because like we could say who we think is the most in form, number 7, but it could be completely different to what the picture is that Razor wants for the All Blacks. You work from home. Says Fluffy. And Roigard, easy. Him and D-Mac will be nasty together. Says Pads Ablaze. Now the Highlanders, they need to try and find a way back into this contest. It's actually very similar to how they set up against the Chiefs. They were 28-0 down in that contest. They came back to only lose it by their 7. The ball's available for Fakatava as he goes back across to Patchell. Looping around now. Drawing pass out to Tava Nawai, who sits down Ruben Love. But there's going to be an advantage there for a tackle off the ball, I believe, on Folau Fakatava. Highlanders jersey has a weird fit, especially around the neck. I don't like it. There's Razor Robinson and Dunedin born and bred. And match for the Canes is pretty impressive. Says Greg, their squad in general is pretty impressive for them. And the massive benefit that they have is they haven't had too many injuries throughout this season as of yet. But the Highlanders, this will be a penalty in the middle of the field. Oh no, the whole back line was offside. Says Damon Murphy. Need to finish with toast and cheese. Are under work in 30 minutes. Says Roof. I'm looking forward to seeing TJ in the second half. Says Greg. And yeah, not just TJ off that bench. They've also got Umanga Jensen. They've got, Natunani Punavai will be a cool one to be able to watch come off the bench later on up against this old side than the Highlanders. The Zoo at the moment are having fun, even though the score is 26-0. And any players in the Highlanders making it to the All Blacks, I think we might see 3 or 4 make their way through. And Kane scores another try. And for half-time, I better call the Undertaker, but now Tava Nawai gets within a couple metres of the try line. Fakatava with the ball on the outside to Jonah Lowe. Probably needed that next pass. Now Fakatava looks to shift it to Reece Patchell. Look for the miracle offload, and he's given it away to Ruben Love again. And also the Highlanders should be okay. We have a bye next week, and we have the Rebels away. And also, Hamish, you can get the award for non-stop commentary. Kiwi Lads Rocks and Duplicity Karefi. We're good to watch also. Yeah, nice, mate. I grew up down that way, says Steve Funk. Now into the pocket for Geordie Barrett. It's a rather shocking kick from Geordie Barrett. Anyone know what ethnicity is Punivai? I don't, maybe Google, too lazy. Tongan, I think, but I could be wrong there for Natunani Punevai. Someone may be able to correct me, though. I was bred somewhere between near Milton, apparently. Says Fluffy. Reece Patchell having a nightmare of a game, yeah. Or a nightmare of a game, yikes. And unfortunately, that's 2 games in a row that he's really struggled to find his feet. He started the season so well. From there, it's kind of gone downhill. Now looking to get this rolling maul going forward. It doesn't look like it's really going too far, although now starts to go. Zaiwaka Leowiri doing very well to drag it down. Let's just have to do the clear release. Now Folau Fakatava goes across to Tom Sanders. Now Fakatava, another short ball to Sam Gilbert close to the beach. Says D-Funk across Patchell. Wide cutout pass. Again, he's given it to Ruben Love. He needs to realise Love's not on his team because that's about the 4th time He's decided Love looks like the best passing option. And well, I've been surprised Highlanders can't get through the yellow defence. Half-time Canes, Borderlanders 0. And also, if you were the Crusaders coach, what would you change to bring back the old Crusaders? Says Luke, the squad, because half those players of old are not there. But, like, don't get me wrong, they got themselves a good win over the Chiefs. No one really expected that to happen, so you know, maybe they're going in the right direction. And as you're absolutely awesome, I miss some good games. Reds Aussie says, Rooster, that is the next game that is going to be taking place. And that is up against the Brumbies. That is kicking off in just under 2 hours' time. We are going to be here doing the live stream. For that one, I got a free Hurricanes jersey, says Max. And also we have got there, I bought bread with no butter, says Blues. Now, to be fair, I've been to the supermarket twice as well. The good news about these live streams is we get little tiny patches in between the games. So like in between the Fijian draw and Force game, I ended up going to the supermarket. And then between the two games there, between Blues and this game, I had to go to the supermarket again because I forgot what I was supposed to get the first time. Whitelock could make a return to New Zealand rugby. What is Patchell doing? And Fakatava is brilliant. Says a roof there as well. The Patchell Lovejoy is working well tonight. Oh, wait. Yeah, they've been struggling big time at the moment in terms of trying to distribute that ball out the back line for the Highlanders. And, of course, when you've got such classy players, looks like Tom Sanders, he's going to be coming off the field for an HIA. This is actually his 50th Super Rugby game. Jeff Wilson won't be happy right now. John Kerwin will be ripping into him if this keeps up. Says Nars Williams. They are just showing the contact. Oh, that was on the jaw. Asafa Moore with the swinging arm. Is he going to be in trouble for that one? Time on, says Damon Murphy. Ooh, okay. That one might have been worth another look. It did connect with him square in the chin. Sent a player off the field. They say we're going again. Now Ethan de Groot sitting 45 metres out the line. Pakatava passes on the outside to Patchell, and for the first time in a while, he hasn't passed to Ruben Love. It was a strip. It's going to be a knock-on from the Hurricanes, they've said. Now Ethan de Groot tries to go through the legs. Mr. Patchell. Get wrestled down by Caleb Delaney. Another HIA. Yeah, that is actually the second injury now for the Highlanders throughout the early stages of this game. And I live next to Eden Park. Auckland Blues win their rugby. And Riverton Rocks. I love that place. There's Stuart Moore. Just showing Ethan de Groot. Tried to be a bit too fancy. I think Sam Gilbert was a bit frustrated, as if that was just a normal pass. Could have found a lot more success with it. You got to give a bit of credit to the Hurricanes coach, Clark Laidlaws. Done well so far, says Joe Weaver. Exactly right. Like, yes, he's got a talented group of players, but it's about trying to make them like work well as a cohesive unit out there on the field. And their tactics so far this season have been very impressive as well. Leinster put 70 on the Hurricanes, says Mark. Burn Leinster put 70 on the Hurricanes. Where's the comment about Leinster? Not sure where that one is. I must have missed one. Over there. How was that a knock-on, says Razor Robinson. Oh, some people said, how was that a yellow card? So I guess they're even in that regard. Although it didn't cost the Hurricanes 14 points like that yellow card did. Now ball's there for the Highlanders. Falau Fakatava. And across, nice low tackle made on Broughton, who's also had to make his way onto the field due to the injury replacement of Tom Sanders. Great defence from the Hurricanes, not allowing the Highlanders to make too many extra metres here. Safa Amor went into the breakdown, doesn't get that turnover. Looping play, Sam Gilbert in open space with the pace, but Geordie Barrett, his opposite number, has taken him down. And boom, you've been hit by a tornado. Says a roof. Now Haig runs for Peter Lakai though over the ball. Wins another penalty for the Hurricanes. Just every breakdown at the moment. They get right in there. They commit at least one man and they get those important turnovers. And yeah, we did the Caravan and Alex thing. Says Defunk. Oh, it is not working well on their rugby. I think some of them have a cold beer last night. Says Tioa. So you're saying they celebrated maybe Easter a little bit too hard? The Highlanders boys. Lovely stuff, says Razor Robinson. I never rolled down a Baldwin in a wheelie bin. That's probably sound advice. Our line-out throw boys suffer more. They've got 2 minutes remaining. In this first half, come on, Landers, at least a try. Doesn't look like trying. And wish me luck, peeps. If I win Lotto tonight, my shout KFC. That sounds very handy. Nazi, I have to hold you to that. The Canes are in a big hurry. Kicked them behind by Geordie Barrett. Good distance on it. Looking for the 50-22, but Reece Patchell is back there. And they'll go back for the original penalty. The Hurricanes were offside. Hurricanes on fire this season, and this game will go one of two ways in the second half. Hurricanes put 60 points on the Highlanders, or the Hurricanes just play scrappy, or Hurricanes just play scrappy and win 33 points to 12 or similar, says Mark there. Okay. To be fair, you're probably not a mile off. It's the question mark of whether or not the Highlanders can come back like they did in their game up against the Chiefs. You could buy a KFC franchise and set up in Waimea? Nah. I've seen the amount of stick that the one in Oamaru and Timaru get, and I would not want that role. And who starts the Hurricanes this year? Injuries. CSC fence. I think, don't get me wrong, they've had some good games, but they've also shown in some of their contests that they are a beatable side if you can get it right. Now, they haven't been beaten yet today, or throughout the season, but I think that game that they'll be most concerned about was that one up against the Crusaders, where they were only able to score the one try and only won it by the 4 points up against a side that have been struggling throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. Good for washing money. Says Fluffy. And also hundreds. Hurricanes put 100 on Leinster and Windy Wellington. And that was a great idea, Fluffy. You can never have too many KFCs. We'll be moving there, says Beds Ablaze. But don't they have one where you are, Paddy? It seems like a lot of effort to move somewhere just for a KFC that you also do have locally where you are now. And Hurricanes, Blues and Hurricanes are like Ireland, says Mark Somerville. Now Roygard to feed this ball in. The national team at least. Says Mark, just don't employ me, just don't. Says Fluffy, but Roygard wants a big push from his fullback, and it has worked. So they've now got themselves another penalty flick around the back door from Geordie Barrett. Ruben Love trying to cut his way through. Sent Gilbert the wrong way. Makes those few extra meters. That's so slow and busy. Says Bads Ablaze kicked him behind. The advantage was over though from the original scrum. It's a good advantage from Damon Murphy. He had the night shift. And Waratahs, Reels put Waratahs at the 11th place. Says 7-0. Not quite as is still the Crusaders and the Force as the bottom two sides in the comp. That is another penalty though, going the way of the Hurricanes. It's hard to pick the Highlanders. They're going to be absolutely horrible. Still be any team at any time. And I'll say it's exactly Fluffy work of what you got, says D-Funk. Hurricanes are wild, cliff jumping, mud wrestling savages today against the Highlanders. Says Katzenell. Waimea Wallaby KFC. Says Fluffy. I know at one of the local restaurants they were selling wallaby, what was it? Like wallaby in bread, like a pig in a blanket per se, like a sausage and bread, but it was a wallaby sausage, which was a bit weird. I didn't actually try it though. I got the chips. Nicely claimed. My Isaiah Walker Leowitty. Tell me your favourite team. I don't really have one, which I know annoys a lot of people. I have teams that I think are doing very well. I have sides that have players on them that I don't mind. But yeah, overall, I try and stay as impartial as possible so that I'm not biased. But Patchell will put that one into touch. And that is now going to make the score 26 points to 0 in favour of the Hurricanes. A brilliant start to this contest for them. Wallaby gives you gas, says Mark. Did not know that. I told you the stories about working in South Dunedin KFC. Some of them fluffy. Some of them sound a bit dodgy. Wallaby chips. No, just plain potato chips. But hot. Like just hot chips, you know. And hey, says Ali, welcome in. Couldn't deep fry raw chicken. says Ruth. Yeah, half time. And this contest first half has absolutely flown by. It's only taken 50 minutes to get through. This is the worst Highlanders team ever, says Spider-Mick. I would disagree. I mean, you look at them on paper, they're actually pretty decent. They're sitting in, I believe now they will actually be 8th currently, but I believe that they will also still stay within the top 8 by the end of this round. So it's not exactly bad from the Highlanders. They've been beaten by some pretty top sides. Like when you look through at their previous 5 games, just looking here, you know, they beat Moana Pacifica. They lost to the Blues by 8. They beat the Tars, something the Crusaders couldn't do. They lost to the Chiefs by 7, and they got beaten by the Brumbies by 6. So they haven't really had too many one-sided games. In fact, their biggest loss this season has been 8 points, and that was on neutral ground up against the Blues. So, like, you know, they're not doing too badly. This will be their biggest loss if it continues this way, of course, I should mention, but you just never quite know, do you? Love listening to your broadcast, says Donald. Thank you very much, mate. And we are back for the Reds versus Brumbies game that is just around the corner. Also, alongside that, we've got 2 games of the URC, which we are going to be scheduling in between these 2 live streams. So we will be scheduling them at about 9 p.m. New Zealand time. The last live stream that we have got will be finishing in about 11 hours' time. So we've got a big night ahead of us, but I'm looking forward to it. I can't with this. Our next 3 games, says PSG. So I assume you're talking about the Highlanders. And the next 3 games for the Landers, they have got themselves the Rebels, but they do have a week off next week. I should have mentioned, then they've got the Rebels, then the Reds, and then the Western Force, followed by Moana Pacifica. So those are actually 4 very winnable games for the Highlanders. Just whether or not they can get their job done. I pray for the year they finally make the teams more even. We have no idea who might win, says Steve. I'd say this year's a little bit that way, though. To be fair, like the Crusaders, they are sitting outside of the top 8 at the moment, so everyone deep down is like, hang on, what's going to happen here when we get through to the quarterfinals if the Crusaders do not make their way through? You can't read too much into the score. They've had 2 yellow cards. Just a bit unlucky, says Joe Webby. And I was singing some Nate Dogg. And also we have got their easy wins, says PSG. That's the spirit. Yeah, it's going to be extremely interesting to see what the second half brings, because the Chiefs were up 28-0 up against the Highlanders at halftime in their game. Highlanders came back to only lose that game by 7 points. Drew a schedule, please. One moment. I'll have to find it, because I did have it on the earlier live stream, of course, when the draw were playing. But seeing as they aren't in this one, I didn't have it preloaded in the way that I need to. One moment, we'll find it somewhere here. The drawer. Where are they? So there's the drawer. There we go. Right, so the drawers games that are coming up. They have got the Rebels next week. Then they have the week off. Then they play the Hurricanes. Then they've got Moana Pacifica. And then the Brumbies at GIO Stadium as the 4th game for the draw in terms of their next 4. In the second half of this contest, I think we're going to see more running meters. Both sides playing a relatively free style of running rugby. Pass this way. Listening to some Run DMC. Walk this way. And question please, Mr. Hamish. When we log in, does the names come up so you know who's logged in? If that makes sense. I assume you're saying, I get what you're saying. So if you join a live stream, do I get a notification saying that you've joined? No. So pretty much if you didn't comment at all, I wouldn't know who was on each live stream. Which is why it's always nice when you guys pop in and say hi, rather than just watching in the background. So I at least know who's here. Just showing. Currently, they've got a clock still going, 54 minutes through this half apparently, which will mean we're not too far away. Give us some halftime entertainment. Says Pads Ablaze. I can give you some stats which some people would consider as entertainment. So we shall do that. We look at our halftime. It looks like final score, Highlanders better eat peanut butter at halftime, says Ruth. And also now I'm going to have to play Nate Dogg in the background. Thanks for the schedule, says Savanatha. Looking through at some of these stats for this first half, we have seen 441 running meters for the Hurricanes, 320 running meters for the Highlanders, and 26 defenders beaten by the Canes here. That's a pretty large number for that first half, and I think that the discipline, 6 against the Highlanders, but that one yellow card of Jacob Ratamaitampuki-Nepkins cost them 2 tries, and the end a total of 14 points, 5 penalties against the Hurricanes, so they have been a little bit ill-disciplined at times as well, but a majority of the time they've been able to control how they play this game. They've had some standout players throughout that first half. The most running metres for any Highlanders player was Timothy Tavatava-Nawai. He had 58. 2 players with 50, Reece Patchell as well as Jonah Lowe. Then for the Hurricanes, we've seen Ruben Love have 84 metres carried, 53 for Kini Naholo, 51 for Braden Yossi, and also 50 for Peter Lakai. Hamish, you make my high come down, says a Blues Nate. And go the Hurricanes, says Sully Alofi. And what kind of day has the backline for the Landers had? A pretty rough one. Reece Patchell, as many metres as he has had himself, it said that he had 50, but he hasn't been able to get that ball on the outside to his teammates. And I feel like that has been costing them quite a bit here. Tavatava Nawai says 7-0. And it's like that. That's the way it is. Says a Nov Mum. And Ozzy Wright, Proctor and Barrett centre pairing. I mean, they've been all right in this game. I don't think that they've been the main standouts of the backline, though. I think it's been more of the Brett Cameron and kind of Ruben Love alongside Roygaard. Those 3 have been very important. What's your prediction for the game, Hamish? Well, the fact that the Highlanders are down by 26 points, I think that the Hurricanes are going to win. Still watching from Vanuatu. Says Greg Barrett there. Yeah, like I mentioned, we've got another Super Rugby game just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Then a game at 2 a.m. New Zealand time, which is in 6 hours' time. That will be between the Sharks and also Edinburgh. I always confuse them, but yeah, Edinburgh and Ulster. Ulster are taking on the Stormers, so they have switched compared to what they did last week. Is the knock-on problem still pervasive? Says Katzenell, which knock-on we talking, like as in just in general? And what is your time? At the moment, it is 8:02 p.m. So it is about 12 hours till our last live stream of the day ends. So we've got a big day still ahead of us. Another probably 6.5 hours of talking still to come. So if you don't mind my voice, you don't mind listening to me talk about a whole heap of random stuff, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as we've got plenty more coming up. Daylight coming up. Says Katzenell, yeah, it's gonna be sunny by the time I finish. Unless it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Might as well check the weather report. Yeah, it's supposed to be cloudy tomorrow morning, so I probably won't see the sun. Who ended up winning Bulls and Leinster this morning. I knocked out, says Nars Williams. So the Bulls, they did end up being defeated by Leinster 47 points to 14. So they were ahead at half-time, the Bulls, and then second half happened, about 35 unanswered points for Leinster, and they got themselves the victory. Yeah, there's far too many knock-ons in general, and daylight savings too, says Katzenell, and Leinster kick Bulls' butt. And also, oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Hamish, that mustache is pure joy, says Roof. Although it's not as strong as it used to be, the old mustache. It kind of got hit by the razor when I got rid of some of the facial hair. Our second half, only just around the corner. Probably in another 3 minutes or so, I would say, before we get to see both sides make their way onto the park. Just looking through at some of the players who will be making their way off the bench later on in this game. James O'Reilly, Pori Rakati Stones, and also Policio Tosi at number 18. Justin Sangster and Duplessis Karefi as the other forward replacements. Then TJ Perenara, Peter Umanga Jensen, and Natudani Punivai there at number 23. Up against his old side as well. So it will be interesting to see how he does get on. And it is Taylor, Leonard Brown, and Wingham as the front row replacements for the Highlanders. Haig is already out on the field due to the knock that we saw for Fabian Holland. Broughton's already out on the field due to the knock that we saw at Tom Sanders. And then Ascot, Faleafunga, and also Josh Timu is already on the field due to the knock that we saw of, I think it's Jonah Nareki who ended up with the knee injury, which meant that Josh Timu made his way onto the field already. Did you ride dirt bikes growing up? I did not know. I rode like a bicycle, but not a dirt bike. I said, well done, Joe. Your boys are fab today and not the Landers. Says Fluffy. I'd love to see Leinster play one of our top teams. And Angela was our local dirt bike, says Fluffy there as well. Yeah, second half, very close, ladies and gents, to getting underway for this contest. Yeah, the Highlanders, you have to find a way of answering back pretty much instantly. Getting the first try of the second half. They always say, however many points your opposition scored in a half, you can score that same amount in the second. Going to Golden Point. It's not an unfamiliar ground for the Hurricanes so far throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. We actually saw them go to extra time up against none other than the Reds, in which they were able to win it 38 points to 33, 250cc, knobbly tyres, hard frame, says Fluffy. And there as well. They're trying to sell me a car again. I don't really need a car at the moment. But we get a lot of car ads in between Super Rugby. Cars and food. Those are the two things that they must feel everyone in New Zealand needs. So that is the two things that they advertise. Highlanders vs Crusaders will be a good game. Says Max Cottle. Yeah, by then it will be interesting to see what kind of form both sides are in heading into that contest. But yeah, it could be a high-scoring one. And depending on where it takes place, I think it is going to actually be down south, if I'm correct. What car do you have? A Toyota? Says Max Cottle. Nah, it's a Nissan. So, it does the job. Moves. That's the main thing. Gets from A to B. The back line for the Hurricanes, I'm expecting a lot more of Kenny Naholo in the second 40 minutes. Josh Morby had a very quiet first half, but that is mainly because they did keep on going out to Naholo's wing. And then Ruben Love at 15 just looks like a really, really good option, not just for the Hurricanes, but maybe could be an option for the ABs in the near future as well. It's going to be in Dunedin, that Southern Derby, says Max Cottle, and what a humble guy, says Naz Williams, and get a horse, says Fluffy, and there as well. Wondering how early the Hurricanes make subs. Because like I mentioned, the Highlanders have already had to make 3 subs due to injury. So the longer that the Hurricanes can wait, theoretically, the fresher that they should be in the later stages of the contest. And with the likes of a Duplessis Karefi, I feel like he will probably go on maybe for Brad Shields. Braden Yossi's having a very good performance up till this stage. And out of the Bulls do against Leinster, they lost by 33 points in the end. 47 points to 14. The win for Leinster over the Bulls. And don't know much about Caleb Delaney. Any info? It's still a very young player. He's only had, I think, 2 seasons now for the Hurricanes. He also was a part of the under-20 setup back when he was under-20. He's a good player, but he's just a little bit green, I guess you could say, in terms of his experience. But, he's going all right so far. Corey Jane just saying that he needs to make sure that the team keep on the pressure. Another big yawn coming from myself. That won't be the last one as well. Like I mentioned, we've still got about 12 hours left of streaming. So I would assume that we would at least have 47 more yawns throughout that next 12 hours. Now, just talking about the fact that the Highlanders are in a similar position to what they were last week up against the Chiefs. Was the game one-sided? Silly errors here and there. So the Bulls actually led at half-time. I believe it was 14 points to 13 or somewhere around there. And then second half happened and the Bulls just fell off, unfortunately. And they just couldn't find a way back into the contest, and Leinster just kept on scoring time after time after time. Like I said, the Highlanders have already made 3 subs at this stage. Okay, they've actually said that Jonah Nariki's a foot injury rather than a knee. Now, I would say foot is not as serious as knee, depending, of course, on what it is. But he might be very happy that it's nothing too serious. Oh, I think they just said that Fabian Holland's also made his way back out onto the field, so he has passed his HIA. We need Renton back. Says Max Cottle, are you doing under 20s? Other Rugby Championship? Yes, there is one. Look it up. Says Brandon, we might end up covering some of it on the channel perhaps, and someone open a yawn book and give generous odds. Says Fluffy. Now the Highlanders in possession. Patchell goes across to Jacob Ratamaitabuki Nepkins. Tackled on the halfway line. Pakatava back across there. Patchell finds Jonah Lowe. So far the Hurricanes defence has been very strong. Sean Worthy drives his legs. They are inside of Hurricanes territory now. And let's go Landers. At least get a try and make the scoreboard look alright. I'm excited to see Peter Umaga-Jensen back in action in the second half. Says Joe Webby. That's the thing. Like the Hurricanes off their bench, they also still have a lot of talent still to come in this game. Patch. Oh, white cutout pass. Does that man know what colour team he's on? It's going to be Josh Morby with the breakaway try. Ratamaitavuki Nepkins tried to stop him, but Reece Patchell with the try assist. And the Canes get themselves another. He has had a woeful couple of weeks. As his boyfriend, his cousin with Tamati, says Max there. Reece Patchell straight into the hands of Morby. And he would say, thank you very much, mate. I've had a quiet game up till now. At 14-12 at halftime to the Bulls, 0 points for them in the second half, needs to put on 35 points. Says Mark there as well. I think he knows straight away. Well, 60 points pending. Says Katzenell. Just Morby. Sticking the tongue out, taunting. I mean, do that when you've beaten a defender rather than just when you got an intercept, I'd say, is the best advice. They should have gone duck shooting. Says Fluffy there. And also, what animal would Matthew be? Matthew. What? Who's Matthew? Now 38 minutes remaining in this half, and it's going to get even more one-sided after Cameron takes this kick. Does manage to get it over. Just off the post. And it's going to make the score 33 points to nil. Poor Patchell, says Razor Robertson. Yeah, unfortunately it's gone from bad to worse. He had a terrible game last week, and he's having almost an even worse game here, which I don't think many people thought was possible. And it's a game to forget. I think the worst thing for the Highlanders is they've backed him as that starting number 10 because of what he did early on in the season. This is looking ugly. Says Pads Blazer like Amoni Narua. Ordinary defence yesterday. Says Joe Webby. It's gone high. Tava Nawai unable to claim that one. And that will be the penalty won by the Highlanders. They take the quick tap. Falau Fakatava going across. Left-hand side, Ethan Negru. Good shot coming on him by Tyrell Lomax. Brad Shields on the ball, but gives away the penalty for Lomax not rolling away. The second man in. So Brad Shields gets penalised. Home ground advantage, got to be worth 30 points. Says Fluffy, and even if that was the case, they are still down by 3 by that logic. But they are kicking this one towards the corner. Be about 12 metres out from the line, if not 15. And they need some sort of try. The best bet here for the Highlanders is to somehow stop the Hurricanes from getting themselves the winning bonus point, which of course is if they score 3 or more tries than their opposition. So for that to be cancelled out, it would mean that the Highlanders need to score 3 tries throughout the second half. Flat ball from Pakatava. It was close to Ford, but Gilbert has taken it nicely. Now back across to the left-hand side to Mothi Tava Nawai. Lined up again. Now driving forward. And also Fluffy isn't hunting illegal in New Zealand. I thought Kiwis only shot down clay. Says kids, no, you're allowed to hunt wallabies, pigs, deer. What else do people hunt? Goat? No, probably not many goats. I don't know what else people hunt. You can tell I'm not a hunter. Any future cricket commentary you would do till Cricket World Cup 2020, that's going to be over. Another try, this time coming for Falau Fakatava. And he scores it between the sticks. The Highlanders have finally struck. And it is Falau Fakatava who manages to score it. So both halfbacks, Roigard and Fakatava, getting themselves on the try-scoring sheet this season. And also in this game. But goes for the snipe. Uses Tyrell Lomax as he knew he was offside, so he wasn't going to be able to make the tackle. Alex has said Ducks. That is true. They're allowed to shoot the Ducks as well. They have a whole season for it. Sam Gilbert at the moment, most points scored this season, 47. He is 5th on the overall standings, and that is a nice easy kick for him to now make the score 7 points to 33. They need 2 more to cancel out that attacking bonus point here for the Hurricanes. But at least it's not a nil. I think we're still yet to see a side with a nil throughout this season. The closest was when the Rebels were defeated by the Brumbies, 30 points to 3. Bonus point is still in play, and we've still got another 34 minutes of play to go. And this contest nicely taken by Jacob Rata, Maita Buki Nepkins. But they are trying to outlaw duck shooting. Says Fluffy. Yeah, the Ducks all signed a petition, didn't they? Saying that they're not allowed to get shot when they're just chilling on the pond. Respectual now. Going to be kicking this one towards the touchline. And let's go the Landers. And also now the Hurricanes need to show some defence. Let's see what they have. And also earlier on about the cricket commentary, we're probably going to do New Zealand-Pakistan, although that series sounds like it's not even going to be taking place, depending on what happens in the near future. But now this one going to be thrown in by Henry Bell. Slapped away to the leg side. Well, that's a cricket term, but it is on favour of the Hurricanes there. Kenny Naholo off to Proctor. Now Ruben Love flick out the back door. Finds Josh Morby. Wrestled down by Jonah Lowe. And spot on, Ducky. Says Fluffy rush defence there from Pakatava. Just watched the draw highlights in the Force. I looked very pleased the game was over. Tropical rain is quite something. Says Stuart Moore. Now Peter Lakai. Another low tackle made by Josh Timu. Was on the field a lot earlier than anticipated, but due to the injury of Jonah Nariki, meant that they weren't really given an option other than to have to make that sub. All New Zealand players playing the IPL, so B-side will be sent. Says Coding. Now tying up the legs as Iawaka Leawiri still manages to get the offload away to Caleb Delaney. Quick hands. Brett Cameron. Tackle on him. Now a little pop pass up to Braden Yorsey. Inside to Josh Morby. Another offload to Yorsey. At the moment, they are just keeping this ball flowing. They've got the advantage as well here, the Hurricanes. Peter Lakai back across. Wide cutout pass to Kenny Naholo, who's just knocked it on in the last moment. And they'll go back for... Oh no, they will actually go for that knock on of Kenny Naholo. The Highlanders now have got themselves the scrum. Right, Josh Timu is now down. This does not look good for him. This looks like some sort of neck injury here for Josh Timu. He's only just come back. And it looks like there is going to be a bit of a stoppage. He's just squeezing his finger, so hopefully it's nothing more serious than a stinger. But he went for the tackle and just took a hard knee to the side of the head. I think he was knocked unconscious. And Hurricanes are kicking some butt tonight, strongest Super Rugby side thus far. And what happened to the advantage there is Razor. I think it went away as it was only I think it was a knock-on advantage. In that case, so if it was an offside advantage, they had gone about maybe 20 or so metres sideways. So they decided that it was long enough. Alchopi's good, says Blues Nate. But yeah, this will be a bit of a stoppage in this game, ladies and gentlemen, while they do look to use the bench again. And this will be the 4th time that they've had to make the change. And if there's some serious damage, says a Razor. But AJ Faliafanga, the one remaining guy other than the halfback, James Ascott, that they've actually got available off the bench for the Highlanders. Now, Josh Timu, he's back on his feet and he's walking around watching women's cricket right now. Says Robert Vale, who was playing in the women's cricket. Was it New Zealand and England? If I'm correct, I think they were playing today. Just showing here, Ruben Love, meters made 69. Defenders beaten 4, clean breaks 1, but he's done a lot more than that, it feels like, after watching the offloads that he's gone with. Is it women's cricket? I know that South Africa plays Sri Lanka in 4 hours' time. What's that for? Oops, click the wrong button. That's no sort of like second T20. Yeah, that's just a part of the series. I thought for a second that I was missing out on a whole World Cup or something that was taking place. Good to see him back up and walking. Here's Razor. Now Fakatava tries the wide cut-out pass. Shields unable to take it cleanly. So Tavanawai throws himself out of Samoa. Have you watched the Brazilian cricket women's cricket team? You should. Says Fluffy. I don't think they show the games here in New Zealand for Brazilian cricket. And we put high, nicely taken by Brett Cameron. Back across to Ruben Love. Big shot on him by Ethan de Groot. Now kicking down the middle of the park. Looks like another injury here for the Highlanders. They're going back for the penalty. It's going to be the Hurricanes who have got themselves the advantage. And now it's going to be, that looks like Suamau has been injured. So it's actually the high shot from Ethan de Groot. So Suamau, they look like they just tried to pop his thumb back into place. Won't have been too comfortable. Now, they do have a replacement prop, which is good news, I guess, but they are running low on stocks in terms of anywhere else in their side. Sri Lanka versus England T20, as well as, I think it's Australia-Bangladesh is the other one that is taking place in about 22 hours' time. So Malu got a bit of a grimace going on his face. Doesn't look like he's too happy. At the moment, we're seeing the lone try for the Highlanders coming in the 45th minute. Alongside that, though, in the 42nd, 31st, 28th, 18th, and 11th have all been tries from the Hurricanes, the away side. And the group man taken off the field. Not sure what he just said to Asafa Moore, but Asafa Moore gave him a bit of a smile. Ethan de Groot did not look like he was joking. So whatever that was, I felt like there was a little bit of afters between those two. Of course, Tyrell Lomax also on the field. That could be the front row for the All Blacks at some stage throughout this year. Now, Safa Moore throws it in nicely to Isaiah Walker-Leawiri. Barrett, flat ball to Braden Yorsi, who once again bumps out of one of the tackle attempts on him. Across Roygaard. A low tackle. Proctor goes off to Barrett. Kenny Naholo trying to run through space. Manages to get the offload away to Isaiah Walker-Leawiri. Now Caleb Delaney. Ball on the outside to Xavier Numia. Going up to 22 metres out. That looked like it was the clean turnover for Fakatava, and it was. And they get themselves again another turnover. Still 29 minutes remaining. They haven't given up yet, which is a good sign for the Highlanders. They still feel like they can get one or two more tries. They really dig deep here. And you fellas looking for another prop? Says Razor. And there as well. Now 38 metres out. Go kick from Reece Patchell, which is something we haven't been able to say too often throughout this contest as of yet. But they've still got time. Of course, Faliafunga, he was on the field earlier than he would have been anticipating. Highlanders at the moment dropping like flies. Nicely cleaned up by Harmon. Doesn't control the ball off the back though. So the Hurricanes have got this one back. Peter Lakai offloads it up to Cameron now. Geordie Barrett trying to carve his way through. Can I play for the Canes? Don't think you get in the squad at the moment. To be fair, they are doing pretty decently. Although Roygaard, now the one who's thrown the interception pass. In fact, it was Brett Cameron. Or is it happening in New Zealand? In Dunedin. Leave Patches alone, says Fluffy. Another penalty, this time going the way of the Hurricanes. I'm back, says Defunk. Welcome back. And Fakatava being the only bright light in the Landers team today, says Razor. To be fair though, Nate, you got your league background, so you might be alright, you know. Stick you out there. You might have to be a Highlanders injury cover though instead in this match. Highlanders usually fight till the end. Each try still means something, says Defunk. Kicked into touch by Geordie Barrett. And of course, every try that the Hurricanes score gets their points differential just that little bit higher than anyone else in the competition. I blame you for getting me into cricket. Says Robert, we've got a few people who actually blame me for their enjoyment of cricket now. Quite a few of the rugby watchers initially who have decided to give cricket a go as well. But it is one of those sports, like, it's not really for everyone. Like, some people will enjoy it, some people just despise it. Great run from Josh Morby. Look for the offload up to Shields. It's going to be the knock on. And Geordie has had a quiet game tonight, unusual. Says Razor, I think it's just more of the case of he's on a very strong backline at the moment where it's not heavily reliant on him playing well, if that makes sense. Similar to Rico Ioane for the Blues, like he had a pretty quiet game overall, but the Blues still able to win that game comfortably because they had other players who were stepping up in the way that they needed to help their side go further. Josh Morby looking for that offload. Doesn't quite get it right, Nate, for PM. Says Fluffy there. 26 minutes remaining here. Let's take Shields off now. Can you recall the first date of your Cricket Live commentary? Says Coding. Probably not. I think it was probably a KFC Big Bash game. More than likely. I can't think of exactly when it was. I can recall my first copyright strike of cricket, and that was during that T20 World Cup a while ago. That was fun. That meant that we weren't able to do any live streaming on the channel for about 2.5 weeks. Let's take Shields off now, says Razor Robinson. And Shields playing like where he left off, says Blues Nate. That's the thing. 10 years ago, that man was wearing a Hurricanes kit. And 10 years later, he is still wearing a Hurricanes kit. He's just had a very different journey to get back to this Hurricanes kit than the first time round. Ball about to be fed into the scrum, though, by Folau Fakatava. Another free kick for the Highlanders. They take it quickly. Going to the short side here to Henry Bell. Another advantage to support offside. They'll take the penalty, says Folau Fakatava, but he decides to take the quick tap. That seems like a risky choice, but it might work out. They've gone out wide. It's cleaned up by Billy Armand, who has then knocked it on, and now Filiafunga starts to find a little bit of space. You can have Shields. We'll take Hoskins, says Razor. Knock on advantage is over. Reece Patchell, ball on the outside to Henry Bell. We saw his brother George score a fantastic try not too long ago for the Crusaders. Asafa Moore defending up against Folau Fakatava on the short side, and Roigard drags down Withy. There's still the bonus point in play for the Hurricanes, but if the Highlanders can score 2 tries throughout the final 25 minutes of this contest, that will cancel out the Hurricanes bonus. Folau Fakatava once again will put this ball high, nicely taken by Geordie Barrett. Now Roigard looking to this left-hand side. Nice skip pass from Brett Cameron. Billy Proctor puts the big fend in. Look forward. And Holo's kicked it out on the full anyway. Like I said, just a little bit off balance for Kenny Nola there. I know there's Buddy Razor Robinson. And my first policy will be to replace money with Spates. I feel like you'd get the vote down in Dunedin, wouldn't you? Just looking for that kick downfield from Kenny Nola, but he was in the process of being tackled. We do now see Duplessis Karefi making his way onto the field. That is to replace Brad Shields. And now Peter Lakai cleans up that ball. Roigard hitting the referee twice in a row and gets nailed in the midsection. In fact, he looks like he might be in a bit of discomfort here, Cam Roigard. Looks like he was holding his knee. Okay, Roigard's taking a shot here. He's blaming the ref. You know, this year's WrestleMania live watch-along commentary. We're probably going to have another stream on at the same time as WrestleMania. If I'm correct, I believe that is also on at the same time as some Super Rugby, and also alongside that, we are going to see, they're just showing here, Damon Murphy was slightly in the way, and his left knee did not look good. Looked like it's dislocated there. Hurricanes They are not happy about it. I feel like they are frustrated with the ref being in the way, but also they are frustrated that this is when the injury has occurred, and sadly didn't happen. Says Marco. If the Highlanders win, it'll be the comeback of the century. Go the Hurricanes. Says Darcy Sims. And I was the great Southern Drop Spates beauty. Looks like Roygaard. He's uncomfortable. At the moment, looks like that knee. They're just trying to decide what they're going to do with it, whether or not they bring out the stretcher for him. Okay, I think that means that they are bringing out the stretcher. Josh Morby gives him a drink. And no, we can't afford to lose Cam, says Razor. Well, it looks like his day is going to be done. You hope that it's nothing too serious for Cam Roygaard. But this doesn't look too good for him at the moment. Just in the tackle process of going down. Of course, he was avoiding the referee for a start anyway, which put him a little bit off balance. And then from there, he did get nailed in that tackle. But they're showing here what he's been able to do tonight. 2 defenders beat and 1 clean break. It's been much more than that, though. His passing's been precise. He's got a try to his name. He's also got a couple assists along the way as well. We have there, what's he injured? His knee by the looks of it. It's either a dislocated knee or something a little bit more serious. MCL, ACL type arrangement for Cam Roygaard. But this could be a season-ending injury for the number 9, who a lot of people predicted to be the starting 9 for the All Blacks. And there goes Roygaard, says Marco. Most appearances, TJ Perenara, 154. Goes past Julian Savia. Goes past Dane Coles, past Artie Savia, Ma'anonu and Conrad Smith. He's on 154 now. And Roygaard, our number 1 halfback for the ABs. And Bugger, says Fluffy. But yeah, I think Roygaard was actually, he was having a bit of a go at the ref as he went down, saying if you weren't in my way, I wouldn't have ended up hurting that. If there's any team that can't afford to lose Roygaard, it's the Cane. Or that can afford to lose, it's the Canes. But TJ, with TJ, but still no. So here's Razor Robinson. But yeah, no team wants to lose players. Of course, due to injury. Yes, they may have the cover to be able to replace them. But do the All Blacks have that same cover that the Hurricanes have? Up the Highlanders, says Kylie there. Are in the huddle, and at the moment, TJ Perenara stepping onto the field, giving the team chat. Probably just telling the team, let's put in a good last 27 or 23 minutes here. Let's get us on the board a couple more times. Just talking about the fact that in Super Rugby history, TJ Perenara now only down by 2 compared to Julian Savia. Perhaps can do well. They are just talking to Brad Shields. Brad Shields just said he doesn't know what's after phenomenal, but that is how Cam Roygaard has been playing. Who do you support? See, it's Kylie. I'm pretty impartial overall, to be honest, which I know annoys a lot of people, but we call these games right down the middle. Hurricanes have looked like the more successful side throughout this game, but the Highlanders, you know, those injuries are going to start hurting them. There have been 3, I believe, throughout this contest already. And g'day, you walking tripod, says Chad. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing all right. Tuvasikarefi looks confused at the moment. So just a suffer more, to be fair. I'm not sure what's going on there for the Hurricanes. I think that they were more confused about what the next player is going to be, whether it's going to be a scrum. But Roygaard making his way from the field. He's got that green whistle, which means he's going to be in La La Land very soon. Flipman was stoked to see Roygaard in black as the number 1 back. I'm sure the entire nation was, says Marco there. I think Damon Murphy's going to get quite a bit of the blame for that one, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's just a freak accident that, like, when he was tackled, the knee just went the wrong way. And Brumbies today, says Bhavani. I think that the big thing here for Roygaard is going to be, hopefully it's only a dislocation. I know that that sounds bad, but it's not as bad as tearing an MCL or an ACL or anything along those lines around the knee. I'm just going to very quickly look. Dislocated knee recovery time. What do we got? About 6 weeks to fully recover. Just to put it into perspective, an ACL tear is 6 to 9 months, and an MCL tear is, depending on how badly you do it, it can take 6 or more weeks. So dislocation, in a way, is almost the best case scenario for Cam Roigard here. But James Ascott going to the short side. Was going to be available for Ascott to be able to feed it across into the midfield to Daniel Leonard-Brown. As this Hurricanes here playing fantastic game. They certainly are. And if they'd gone duck shooting, all this could have been avoided. See, Fluffy, who was injured, just turned back in. Roigard, he is going to be possibly missing for most of the rest of the season, depending on how serious that injury was. Highlanders really are such a bad team, although they're still in the top 8 at the end of the round. So I feel like, as bad as they have been at times, they're still up there in terms of chance of the quarterfinals. Reece Patchell going to be kicking this one towards the corner now. Pauri Rakati Stones has made his way onto the field for the Hurricanes now. So I believe they've almost emptied their bench, with the exception of Tyrell Lomax and I believe Asafa Moore. They are the two. In fact, no, they've made hardly any changes. I'm just looking through at who else they've still got. They haven't got Pitu Munga Jensen out there on the field. Wingham now making his way out there, replacing Suamau. And the Canes have another very fast halfback. Here's a Kiwi South African. His name is Geordie. I can't remember his last name. It is Phil Ewan, I believe, if I'm correct with the last name. And also daylight between Roigard and all the other All Black halfbacks, not good. Says Josh and Cortez Ratama and Folau Whakatava. Far better performance than Finley. Says Blues Nate. And the Hurricanes 54, Landers 24. But the Hurricanes, they are having to defend now. Only 10 metres out from their line. Scott goes back across to James Patchell. Hospital pass on the outside. I guess I said James Patchell rather than Reece Patchell, but another penalty advantage was in play. Geordie Barrett's confused. They are looking for the mark. At the moment, 12 gold offside. Not happy about it, Geordie Barrett. He's having a laugh about it. He's saying, are you sure it was me? We'll get to see a replay very soon here to see if he was offside, but 7 penalties conceded in the second half. Compared to just that's an ugly sound. Harmon smashed in the tackle off the hospital pass. Duplessis Karefi put it in the big hit. And now the Hurricanes have got these scrums straight back. So that really amounted to nothing for the Highlanders. They take the quick tap. Boom. Hospital pass from Ascott. Duplessis Karefi rushing up. And Billy Harmon had no choice but to just take that contact on the midsection. And it certainly fired up Duplessis. Yes, still 20 minutes remaining in this contest. This felt like a relatively long one. Maybe that is due to the injury that we saw of Cam Roigard. Now, I should mention as well that we are going to be covering more of Super Rugby. The Reds versus Brumbies game is just around the corner. We are going to cover that one on the channel, as well as 2 games of the URC that are taking place later on tonight. We are going to be live for both of those contests. And try again, Hammy. Says Fluffy. Do you think Duplessis Karefi has ever skipped a league day? Probably not, no. Feels like probably a handy enough player to have in that loose ball trio to come off the bench now going forward. And we passed out wide. Brett Cameron goes to Kenny Naholo. Bumps off Tava Nawai. Offload to Peter Nutter. But he wasn't able to regather. Knock on from Funga as well. So it will now be the scrum feed for the Highlanders. Fiji likely won't pay for 30 million for NRL team, so Christchurch will get it, says Annoy. And I was regular, not you, Landers Hammy, says Fluffy. And there as well, but just not able to drag it down. TJ Perenara, he thought he had it in his grasp. The ball just does slip away. "19 minutes left now, another scrum feed. We've got a few of these throughout the second half in terms of the scrum numbers. All the teams having a bye next week. Not all of them. So only 4 teams have a bye next week. And then the week after that, those teams are in action. And then 4 other teams have the bye. So we've got 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks, there are only 4 games of Super Rugby rather than the 5. And that is due to teams getting to rest. And having those rest weeks in the middle of the season. Oh, I dropped him after a second there. Oosh says a Blues note. Okay, they're just talking about the front row replacements for the Highlanders. Jack Taylor, as well as Wingham, has made his way onto the field as well. James Scott ready to feed this one in for the Highlanders. That's a Leo Tosi, front row replacement for the Canes. I think that they've still got to suffer more out there on the park, though. It's very hard to tell with how wonky that scrum was. No, James O'Reilly has made his way on the game, which says, John, no worries at all. Yeah, like I said, the next game that we are covering, it has taken place at 9:35 p.m. New Zealand time. So that is in about 45 or just a little bit over 45 minutes time. And that will be an exciting game between the Brumbies and the Reds. And then the game after that we are covering is at 2 a.m. New Zealand time. That will be between the Sharks and Edinburgh. And then the game following that is at 6:15 that we are covering between the Stormers and Ulster. So be sure to stay tuned for all of those games that we have got coming up, ladies and gents. There are plenty of them on the cards. I've still got 3 more live streams after this one does hit its conclusion. Fed in by James Scott. Big push there, and the penalty goes the way of the Canes. Korefi injects himself a corned beef, I reckon. Blue walking around is the penalty. I find it weird that there are so many Tongan Marcos playing, or players doing well in Super Rugby this year, but they did poorly in the NPC. Oh, sorry, Tasman Marcos rather than Tongan Marcos. But that's the thing. Sometimes form, you know, they always say it's steel sharpens steel or iron sharpens iron. Sometimes playing up against higher caliber opposition can actually bring out the best in some of these players. Whereas playing in the NPC, maybe they get a little bit casual. Maybe they don't take it as seriously as they need to. And it can end up costing them a little bit. Go to the Hurricanes, says Boer. And also love me 5 minutes of scrum reset, says Razor, and True, says Chad. Right, the change has been made. Natunani Punavai comes onto the field for the Hurricanes, which does mean that Brett Cameron goes back to fullback. And I believe, Josh Morby goes back to fullback, I should say. And now big run forward for Kenny Naholo. 2 metres out for the line for the Hurricanes, and it's knocked on by Billy Proctor. You mentioned the 5 minutes of resets, Razor. We get another scrum reset here between these two sides. Unfortunately, it's just been a little bit rushed at times. Even the Hurricanes, with the 33 points on the board, they've had little mistakes that they've made that could have led to a lot more points on the board had they been just that little bit more patient and a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more clinical in the way that they've played it. But yeah, that just hits his teammate's knee there of Kenny Naholo. It almost looked like he was smiling on the ground as if to say, whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Proctor frustrated with that. And also Low asking he shall receive, and Hanley here has been rough for the Canes. Says Razor Robinson, big scrum again coming for the Hurricanes. TJ Perenara steps and scores. He's 1 behind Savia now. And 50 points is on the cards here for the Hurricanes if they can score 2 more quick tries. TJ Perenara off the back of the scrum. That is now his 60th career try. I've mentioned that he's already beaten Julian Savia for the most appearances for the Hurricanes. Now he's trying to take that try-scoring record off him. Peter Lakai, though, with the flick between the legs. Yeah, mate, Will Rugby should implement line-out and scrum reform. Too much time is lost, says Katzenell. And also, Beauty TJ, says Razor Robinson. I know that they were talking about trying to fix the scrums in terms of the amount of time that they take. But I know that caused a lot of outroar from certain sides that enjoy having a lot of scrums. I'm not going to say names, but you guys know who we are talking about in terms of a side that do pride themselves on their scrum and being able to not so much manipulate but control a game from a scrum. And they weren't too happy with the law change that that World Rugby were saying could be an option. The kick does go over for Geordie Barrett, 40 points to 7. And TJP must be tied with Izzy Folau for tries in Super Rugby. That is correct. Yeah, I think he has the same number currently. If he gets one more, he will be tied with Julian Savia at the top of the bunch. In fact, Perenara may have already been tied with Israel Folau, because they said 2 would get him ahead of Julian Savia, and Savia recently went ahead of Izzy Folau. I reckon TJ's experience could still be useful for the AB's lack of experience in our halves. Oh, no, we're good. Yeah, he probably could be a decent option just to add a bit more stability to that side. I would definitely go with Perenara over Finley Christie, even though we've only seen very brief moments of TJ. Now back into the pocket. Ruben Love is going to be playing as that 10 option now. The ball has gone high. Knocked on by Reece Patchell. Unfortunately for him, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong in this game for that man. Now back across Porirakiti Stones. 45 metres out. Barrett now playing half. Goes to Ruben Love in behind him. Morby. Second receiver, Proctor. Trying to go through. Highlanders, to be fair, to their credit, they have still made some decent tackles throughout this game, even though the Hurricanes have been throwing everything at them at times. Just making those important ones that have stopped the line breaks. Here comes Kini Naholo. Another good tackle made from Sam Gilbert. Tava Nawai does win the penalty. A no clear release from Kini Naholo. Now, if you're being very technical, his hands were on the ground before he got his hands on the ball there, but I think that we've definitely learned from this game that breakdowns are a lottery. And you're either going to get some decisions in your favour or you're going to get them against you, but either way, there are going to be decisions made. I'm going to see the replay here. Yeah, hands down for Tava Nawai, then brought them back onto the ball. Does win the penalty for his side. Looks like he's got a little bit of cramp at the moment as well for Timothy Tava Nawai. The same boat as Kini Naholo by the looks of it, who's also getting stretched out as we speak. James Scott, nice sell of the dummy. Can't go through though. Porirakiti Stones lined him up. Max Hicks now. Trying to go through. Across to Wingham. Past the Tava Nawai on the short side. Perenara tries to hold him up. Max Hicks. After the 22 now, the Highlanders are not theoretically finished scoring as of yet. They've still got the 10 minutes. Patchell finds the offload. Unfortunately, Jack Taylor not able to get that next offload away. Scott goes to Sam Gilbert. Great tackle made by Proctor. And over the ball, Geordie Barrett tries to strip it, but he doesn't win the penalty. Proctor tries the suplexes, ends up dropping himself on his own head. Patchell in behind. Another step coming in from Faliafanga in the midfield. Scott again. Go back to the right-hand side. Didn't see a huge amount of Billy Harmon throughout this game in terms of running meters. He did make a lot of tackles, of course. Heck yeah, very partying time. Says Mark, so thank you very much for becoming a member once again on the channel, Mark. Run forward from Daniel Leonard Brown. Scott. They're up to 10 phases now for the Highlanders. Put him behind to James Lowe. Doesn't look to pass it. Instead, will hit it up. Now away to Jacob Ratamaitavuki Netkins. Ever since that yellow card, he's also been a little bit quiet throughout this game. Now Haig. 25 out. Scott. Still phase after phase. 15 in a row now. That's Nicholas Broughton. Can't get any closer. Reece Patchell inside ball to Sam Gilbert. Great tackle made by TJ Perenara. That looked like an illegal clean out from Sean Withy on Ruben Love. And it's going to be the mistake made. A knock on from the Hurricanes. From the Highlanders and then the Hurricanes. So it will be a scrum feed for the Canes again. Geordie Barrett gives us a bit of a tap on the back to Justin Sangster to tell him not to worry about that one. Of course, the game is already won for the Hurricanes. It's just more of the question of how far can they extend that lead to. 15 phases together in that play, and they just couldn't make those meters that they required. Similar to what we actually saw for the Crusaders Chiefs, the start of that game, when the Chiefs were throwing absolutely everything at the Crusaders and the Crusaders would not budge. I would say the referees hold up most of the time. The decision, says Joe Webby. I think more changes are being made. Kenina Holo will be making his way from the field. That is for Peter Umanga Jensen. Now they've got themselves another penalty advantage here for Peter Lakai. Finds the flick pass up to Duplessis Karefi. Perenara goes to Geordie Barrett. Another offload to Peter Umanga Jensen. Pass on the outside. Chance for Natunani Punavai. Another offload. Goes to Perenara, then to Karefi. And they're forced into touch. Oh, I don't know what was said there, but Billy Harmon just snapped at Duplessis Karefi. It looked like it was all fun and games, and then something happened, and Billy Harmon just pushed Duplessis Karefi in the back of the head. He's smiling about it, so I'm not sure what was said. And dangerous clean out for sure, says Razor. Maybe that's the frustration of earlier on, some of the shots that came in. And what punishment does the ref get for effing up our best half? Not much, I don't think, unfortunately. It's very unfortunate for Cam Roygard, though. Looks like Daniel Leonard Brown has stayed down. We're just going to see the afters here. First of all, though, great break from the Hurricanes to keep that ball alive. Duplessis Karefi gives me Grubs vibe. Says Marco. Yeah, we're going to see it here. So, Natunani Punevai. It's across to Duplessis Karefi, who slammed into the ground. Was it because he wouldn't let go of his wrist? Is that what started that? Surely not. Like, there would have had to be something. Maybe Duplessis Karefi... No, he just had his wrist. I don't know why he snapped the way that he did, Billy Harmon, but something's got under his skin. Maybe frustration from this game around Duplex. And as Rev Razor should five him the old 1-2 combination, says Marco. Just showing the season for the Highlanders. The next game have got themselves the bye. Okay, it's going to be a free kick to the Highlanders now. And they're going to get marched back 10. Too much back chat, says Damon Murphy. But that is all because early on, when there was a bit of push and shove between the players, Damon Murphy didn't shut it down then and there. He kind of said if it happens again, there'll be a bit of trouble. It's happened 3 more times and there's been no trouble. Angry Billy, says Razor Robinson in there as well. Now, going to be another line out. It's time for the youngster James Taylor. We've seen 5 lineouts lost by the Highlanders throughout this game. And scrappy last half, says Mark. Yeah, we've only seen 2 tries. In fact, 3 tries scored throughout this second half between these two sides, which is still a big half. Like, theoretically, an average half, you get 2 or 3 tries, you'd be happy enough with. But because of how this first half started, I think that with only 3 tries being scored, it seems a bit lackluster compared to what happened throughout the first 40. Although, looks like the Hurricanes are eyeing up another one. Geordie Barrett with the pass on the outside to Peter Umanga Jensen. Tackled by Sam Gilbert. Angry Billy is a bad Billy, says Razor. And 24 hours of waterboarding seems appropriate, says Fluffy. And Karefi is flanker only because they changed Artie to 8. I liked Artie better at 7. And you're right about Karefi, says Joe Webby. It's going to be kicked in behind. Waiting for this one to set up. It is Jacob Ratamaitabuki Nepkins. Now going to try and run it out from his own in-goal area. And it looks like it's not going to go too badly. Makes his way to the 22, although now the Hurricanes, they have got players committed into the breakdown. And Duplessis Karefi gets the turnover for the Canes. Passed out wide, no, beautifully taken by Jonah Lowe, who's now in a foot race. There are 2 players who are following him. He's never looked like passing the ball throughout this game, Jonah Lowe. That's a very late shot from Billy Proctor, so that will be the penalty advantage in favour of the Highlanders. What to say about RCB? I don't really know too much about them. I assume that they are the team that scored a heap of runs with Travis Head, but I could be wrong there. And that is now going to be the penalty going in favour of the Highlanders for a late clean out. Billy Harmon takes the quick tap and he lines up someone. He was hoping for Duplessis Karefi, but he doesn't find him in the end. Max Hicks, numbers now. Ball on the outside to Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins. He's held up on his back, or is he? That looked like the ball was close to down. Oh, nah, Damon Murphy says, nah, we're not even going to look at it. It's held up. Okay, they're saying that they will have a look at it. I think that it was after he turned here for Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins that he may have just managed to manipulate this ball. Now, I think that's actually loose. I think Max Hicks knocked it out of his hand. It's a no try, and it's going to be considered as a knock on there. Oh, they're going upstairs to see if it was an illegal clean out. Where is this match being held? It is being held in Dunedin. And this ref loves the Highlanders. Every 2 minutes, the Highlanders have advantage. Says Razor Rowanson, you're obviously watching a different game to myself. Because match stats, when we look at it, we've seen, one moment, we'll refresh it. I feel like the Highlanders have had a much higher penalty count, plus they got a yellow card in this game. We've seen, oh no, sorry, yeah, no, you are a little bit right. We've seen a lot of penalties conceded by the Hurricanes from El Discipline. No yellow cards though. They've had 14 penalties against them, yet they are not in the bin as of yet. So he must not like them that much in terms of the Highlanders, or else he would have sent one of them to the bin like he sent Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins. And stuff this, I'm going to drink myself to death before the Reds game. Says Fluffy, so you might be a very interesting one in the chat then for that game, I would say. It's a try. His hand's always on the ball, and it is going to actually be the try there for the Highlanders. And for Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins, that is, I believe, now his 4th try. In fact, it might almost be his 5th. Yes, it is the 5th of the season for Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins. Said that his left arm stayed on the ball. Max Hicks helped get him over that try line. The aggression you bring into the commentary feels like you are playing on the field, says Sudip. Oh, come on, says Razor Robinson. Now Sam Gilbert lining up this kick. Taking some deep breaths. Like I said, it's in the book. It's down as the try, and Gilbert has missed the conversion. Now going to make the score 40 points to 12 in favour of the Hurricanes. With 3.5 minutes remaining in this matchup, I believe the Hurricanes would still need to concede 2 tries within this last 2 or 3 minutes of the contest for them to end up losing their bonus point. But for now, they are going to be going back to top of the table at the end of this round. If you had to choose between cricket or rugby, which one would you prefer? I feel like that's one of those questions that is very much a weighted question in terms of you want to get some sort of controversy going. If I'm being honest, in terms of playing it, cricket, because I don't play rugby anymore. In terms of commentating, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. If I want to talk flat out, rugby's the best way of doing that. If I want more of a chilled out chat, you probably go to the cricket because you get a lot more stoppages in the cricket, although current rugby, you see a lot of stoppages anyway with the scrum resets and everything along those lines. Thanks for the commentary. Cheers from Germany, says Ta. Yeah, we've got another game just around the corner between the Reds and the Brumbies. Petchel tries to chip in behind, cleaned up by TJ Perenara, but now it's kicked forward by Faliafanga, just waiting for this one to bounce up. The ball has not bounced favourably as of yet, and now it does it. He scores the try for the Highlanders. They're trying to bring it back late. It's too little too late, or can they cancel out that bonus point? They need one more now to be able to do so. But Faliafanga, oh, hang on, we got no try. Oh, we got something that's going upstairs now for them to have another look at. Damon Murphy. Okay. They're just talking about TJ Perenara and the dirty tactics. Okay, they're going to go time off here. But pretty much the Highlanders were trying to go as quickly as they could. Petchel was about to take the kick, and then TJ Perenara ended up knocking the ball away so that they couldn't take it quickly. They're checking for a potential knock-on, though, in this case. And that's for the commentary. Cheers from Germany, says Ta. Just saying maybe there is a knock on here. TJ Perenara. Let's drop that ball backwards, and yep. That's going to be the knock on from Paliafanga. So it will be no try. Was the knock on? All right, Timo, no. And how do you reckon Hooper will go on the Hong Kong Sevens on debut? I'm very curious to see how he ends up going. Mainly because, we haven't really seen any footage per se of him in a match scenario since playing rugby union. So, yeah, hopefully he is match fit and hopefully he does very well for the Aussies. I like all sport. I am a sports lover. Cricket, football, hockey, badminton, tennis, rugby, all sports. And we have us get the no try, oh well. A knock on from the Highlanders, says Razor Robinson Manel. Will with your scrum feed for the Canes. A nice attempt, young man, says Razor Robinson there as well. And here we go. It's like the refs are always trying to find a reason to not award the try. Gets me frustrated with the game, says Joe Webby. I mean, the TMO has been heavily involved throughout this game, probably more than we've seen throughout any other game of this round. Of course, next game that has taken place, Reds versus the Brumbies. Hopefully it's not heavily involved. And that one, my Canes prediction of 50 points could be wrong. Says Annoy, yeah, they will struggle to get to 50 with only 45 seconds remaining. TJ Perenara going off to the short side to Peter Umaga Jensen. They can bring up 47 though, if they do it well. Geordie Barrett manages to clean that ball up. It's there again for the Hurricanes. They want the last try in this matchup. Another short ball to Pori Stones. Now Perenara grab it in mind from Billy Proctor and kicked forward by Ruben Love. He may have been tackled without the ball here. Now it's going to be a goal line dropout now for the Highlanders. And Ruben Love just went to kick that one forward, and to be fair, he was tackled without the ball. They have gone quickly. Stolen there, Jonah Lowe. That may be why he doesn't pass, because he's just tried one and it's been intercepted, and the Hurricanes will get the final say and the final try of this matchup, bringing them closer to the half century. We have got there, you might know one thing, that Ben Stokes' father used to play rugby. I do indeed, or rugby league, in fact, to be more specific. James Lowe, like I said, doesn't normally pass the ball. Decided that he'd give it a crack, and Justin Sangster just read him like a book and then managed to charge in. Billy Harmon tried to drag him down, but was too late to be able to stop him. It kind of sums up the Highlanders game as well. It's never really been one that they've been fully in. Corey Jane, he was loving it as well. And cheers for the commentary game, says Razor Robinson. So like I mentioned, 27 minutes time is when the next game is going to be taking place that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. That next one that we are doing on the channel is going to be starting at, I believe it is 9:35 p.m. New Zealand time. The derby between the Reds and the Brumbies. That is a game that you do not want to miss. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Also, 2 games of the URC later on in the night for anyone who is curious and interested in that competition. But Geordie Barrett lines up the kick, does get it over in the end score in this game. 47 points to the 12. But nonetheless, like I said, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all for the next match.